Justin Jefferson, the Vikings receiver, did not get an extension before the season began. And those of you who follow PFT closely, first of all, thank you. Second of all, you know that my theory was if they don't do this deal, there's a chance he gets traded after the season, whether it's part of a package that would allow the Vikings to move up and draft a franchise quarterback, or they trade him to someone else and they get assets that then get packaged with other assets so they can trade up. Until he signs a long-term contract, that's on the radar screen. And now what happens with Jefferson going on injured reserve? The Vikings get a glimpse of what life would be like without him. And maybe that gets them to give him the extension. Maybe they realize we really need him. Or maybe Jordan Addison steps up. KJ Osborne steps up. Other guys step up. And they say, $30 million a year? When there's so many other receivers out there that aren't as good, but collectively can be. And if they have the real deal in Jordan Addison, and he used a first-round pick on him, they don't have to pay him until after the 2025 season at the absolute earliest. That's what they could do. They've had great receivers over the years. Randy Moss, traded. Percy Harvin, traded. Stephon Diggs, traded. They haven't had a great quarterback. Not a long-term franchise quarterback. Dante Culpepper was the closest. He had a spectacular season in 2004, October of 2005. He had the torn knee ligament trifecta in Charlotte, and that was that for him. But when you look at all the different guys who have played, there have been guys who are very good, but there hasn't been that guy that has been the franchise answer like Fran Tarkenton was. And kids, for those of you who never knew this, Tarkenton was actually traded by the Vikings, and they traded to bring him back. And that sparked 3 Super Bowl appearances in 4 years, but no Super Bowl victories for the Vikings. Right now, they would just take a Super Bowl appearance if they could get one. So, as much as I'd like Justin Jefferson to continue with the Vikings for the rest of his career, they have a bigger play here in mind. And if using Justin Jefferson as a way to gather more picks or as a way to placate whoever it is that's holding the pick the Vikings would like to get so they could get their franchise quarterback, I don't think they'll hesitate, especially if they get through the next few weeks without Jefferson in a way that the offense continues to thrive. But regardless of what happens with Jefferson, it sure feels like Kirk Cousins is going to be out once the season is over. And as I wrote yesterday, and I think Shireen Williams and I talked about this today, although maybe we didn't. At some point I said today, maybe it was on the Score in Chicago, that we need to watch the next 3 weeks, week 6, 7, and 8. If a starting quarterback on a shortlist contender suffers a season-ending injury, that potentially opens the door for a Kirk Cousins trade if the Vikings lose 2 of the next 3 games. See, the trade deadline is a little early. I think that's the subject of one of the questions, so I'll hold further comments about that. But when you've got an 18-week season, to close the window on trades on the Tuesday after week 8, it's a little too early for the teams that should be folding their tents to acknowledge that it's over, because you still want to perpetuate some sort of a ruse with your fan base that there's a reason for them to show up for the games. And if the Vikings would trade away Kirk Cousins between now and October 31 and go with Nick Mullins or Jaron Hall or Carson Wentz or Matt Ryan, I don't know that that's the right way to keep the fan base engaged, even though everybody would understand that in the offseason, the goal is to go out and try to get the guy that's going to be the quarterback for many, many years to come.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.